Today we are making the steak fajitas quesadilla like Chipotle but vegan. And we're going to be making some vegan steak, the honey Chipotle vinaigrette, which we're going to mix up with some vegan sour cream, and then we're going to slap together a square-shaped quesadilla, so let's get it going. And this vegan steak is one of the tastiest things I've made in recent memory. In fact, my wife said this was one of the best dishes I've whipped up, and she's a straight shooter, so I know it's a keeper. And for the steak, you can use tofu like I did in my cheesesteak video, or mushrooms like my mushroom fajitas, but today I'm going to be using my good buddy soy curls. And if you're not familiar, they are similar to TVP chunks and they absorb whatever you cook them in and have a great texture. So we're going to rehydrate them in some veggie broth. I'm also going to add a little gravy master, which is optional. After about 15 minutes, they should be rehydrated, and I'm going to go ahead and squeeze out all that liquid that I can. This is a great way to get out any stress you might have from reading all the anti-vegan trolls in your comment section. Next, we want to simmer and reduce the soy curls in some more veggie broth or vegan beef broth. And we're going to do this for two reasons. First, it's going to infuse a lot more flavor into the soy curls. And second, it's going to make them more tender and meaty. And once they have absorbed most of the liquid, we're going to take them off the heat. And now it's time to make the Chipotle marinade. Oh, and I'm making a double batch here, but for a single batch, we're going to need a 1/4 cup of vegan mayo. You can also use oil, but I prefer the mayo. And then next up is a 1/4 cup of diced chipotles in adobo, a 1/2 cup of veggie broth, and then whisk that up if you're bothered by the sight of it like I was. Next, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of coriander, a teaspoon of cumin, 2 teaspoons of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried cilantro, which is optional, a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 5 cloves of minced garlic, and then 1 to 2 teaspoons of lime juice or more to your liking. Go ahead and whisk that up and give it a taste. Now all we need to do is add that to our soy curls and marinate that for at least an hour, but really overnight is best. And in the past, when I've made recipes like this, I'll get comments asking if reducing the soy curls before marinating is necessary. Like, why can't we just marinate them and skip that step? Well, I tested it out with a small portion of the soy curls. The next day, I grilled up the soy curls that had been reduced and the ones that hadn't, and to me there was a stark difference. They simply had way more flavor and had a much better texture. If the reduced soy curls are a 10, the non-reduced ones were maybe a 6 or a 7, so to me it's worth it. But now that our soy curls are marinated, we can grill them up as we do, and if you're just making 1 or 2 quesadillas, you can totally just grill up a bit of the soy curl steak and leave the rest in the fridge for later. In fact, these are great in tacos, burritos, or by the handful straight from the fridge. But you really just need to heat them through. You can cook them over high heat if you want to get a bit of a sear on them if you like, but however you cook them, they are going to turn out fantastic. Like I said, this is one of the best things I've made in recent memory. Now for the fajita veggies, we're simply going to get a couple of bell peppers and a red onion. We're going to slice those up like so, and I'm making mine a little shorter than regular fajitas just because I hate when you get a bite and a whole long slice of bell pepper comes out. So these are going to be more bite-sized pieces, and then after that, it's just a simple process of grilling them over medium-high heat. I like to do mine so they are still a little crunchy. I don't like soft or mushy veggies, so I just do mine for a few minutes until they start to get some color on them. And I've never had grilled red onions before, and man, I've been missing out. These are delicious. For whatever reason, I've only had them raw or pickled, but this will be something I'll be doing more of from here on out for sure. Okay, now we need to make the honey Chipotle vinaigrette. And since there's honey in it, we're going to get some vegan honey, and you can totally use something like maple or date syrup or agave, but I also have a really good vegan honey recipe that's super easy and fun to make. I'll leave a recipe link in the description for that. Either way, for the vinaigrette, we're going to need a 1/2 cup of red wine vinegar, 5 tablespoons of your vegan honey of choice, 1 cup of a neutral oil or use olive oil for a stronger taste, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried cilantro, which is optional, 2 to 3 tablespoons of diced chipotles in adobo, 4 cloves of minced garlic, and then black pepper and salt to taste. Now I'm using a stick blender for this, which I highly suggest if you have one, but if not, you can also make this in a food processor or a blender. You're just going to want to add in the oil very slowly. I prefer this because it's quicker and more foolproof, which is important when I'm cooking. But after about 20 seconds, you should have an emulsified sauce that is so freaking good. Honestly, this and the steak are 2 of my favorite things right now, just unbelievably flavorful. And to make the dipping sauce, we just want to take a bit of some vegan sour cream, which if you want to make from scratch, I also have a simple recipe for that as well on the blog. But you can use store-bought too, and we just need to mix a bit of the vinaigrette with the sour cream. And I gotta say that this is just a genius combo, so don't skip this dip. So now that we have all of our components together, let's make a quesadilla. So we're gonna get a large tortilla that's been heated up. We're going to add a good amount of vegan cheese. I'm using the Follow Your Heart stuff, but use whatever you like. Next, we're going to add some of our veggies, more cheese, our vegan steak, and then more cheese if you please. And now Chipotle wraps their quesadillas almost like a square crunch wrap. It has pros and cons. The pros are the quesadilla won't fall apart on you, and it's a little easier to eat. The cons are you can't get quite as much filling in there, but do it up however you like. Once we have it wrapped up, we'll get a skillet heated up with some oil and then simply grill this on both sides for about 3 to 4 minutes per side. And if you have a grill press or something like that, I recommend using it to get better browning and cheese melt, something I learned with the leftovers when I wasn't filming, of course. But these turned out totally great. We're going to slice it into some triangles like so, and don't feel bad if yours doesn't look like this. This was just the one I made for the thumbnail. This is probably what it's going to look like, which is still great, of course. And then naturally, we gotta dip it, and I know I sound like a broken record, but this is honestly one of the best things I've made since I can remember. It's smoky, meaty, cheesy, and just insanely good. I can't say it's better than the Chipotle version because I've never had theirs, but it's heads and tails better than anything I've eaten there before I was vegan. So I do hope you all give this a try and let me know what you think if you do. And if you want to turn this into a burrito bowl, check out my other Chipotle video right here. And until then, I'll see you all next time.